Back to the broadcast. Now, Geoffrey Rigathti Gachagua is a Kenyan politician who has served as the second deputy president of the Republic of Kenya since 2022. Now, he previously served as the member of parliament for Madeira constituency between 2017 and 2022 under the Jubilee Party ticket before being picked as the UDA party running mate in the run-up to the 2022 general election. However, he's turned when he was pitched 2 years into office, becoming a sharp thorn against his former boss and unearthing government secrets in his quest to make William Ruto one-term president. But who is this man, Rigathti Gachagua? Micah Gungu unfolds Gachagua's personality and his journey in and to politics.
Actually, Gachagua has replaced Raila Odinga as the one man around whom the elections will be rotating.
Harambe! Harambe!
Before the year 2013, he was little known, at least not more than former district officer and perhaps a personal assistant to the then local government minister and 2002 presidential candidate, Uhuru Kenyatta, the closest position he had been to power. However, he made little influence in the then Nyeri County government when his late brother Rigathti Gachagua was taken ill in London. It is this time that some claim he was running the county government of Nyeri. But hold, we will revisit that. In 2025, Kenya's self-proclaimed truthful man seemed to be on his own roadway, pursuing his beliefs regardless of how unpopular they may be. From his controversial Mau Mau ancestry to corruption probes.
He is very truthful, just like he says.
He's the most dishonest politician of our times.
You cannot lead people anywhere with that kind of venom. It is dangerous.
The streets call him Rigathti, ostensibly to bring him closer to the youth in their quest to interact with his personality. This is his political pathway since his leadership ambitions came into the limelight. Rigathti was the second last of 9 children born in a polygamous family in 1965, just a year after Kenya became a republic. He was born here in Herega village of Nyeri County, son of Gachagua Rediani and Mother Kirigo. It is said that during the independence fight to expel the white colonialists from the country, his late parents lived in the Greater Mount Kenya forest for more than 10 years. This, however, has been quashed away by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who in 2023 asked Gachagua to provide evidence of his father's service number in the movement.
Dawa ya hii mtu ni watoto wa Mau Mau. Dawa ya hii mtu ni Rigathti Gachagua mtoto ya Mau Mau. Tukiwa na bebe Nyoro, si ndio? Na Kimani Ichung'wah, na Moses Kuria.
I want you to come clean and tell the Kenyans what is your relationship with that Nderi Gachagua Wangombe, the collaborator, so that people can then understand. And tell us also, if your father was a Mau Mau, what was his service number in the Mau Mau movement?
From 1971 to 1977, he attended Kaviroine Primary School before joining Kianyaga High School to complete his O-level and A-level studies. His studies at the University of Nairobi began in 1985, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science and Literature in 1988. During his childhood at Kaviroine Primary School, Gachagua used to play volleyball, with which he gained prominence across the village.
You can tell even after school, we used to have these village clubs, and I remember you used to compete. He came from a village called Herega. and we were from Kabiroine. We also had other villages like Gorano and Kiamariga. So during holidays, we used to play these inter-village competition. And he used to lead his group from Herega. So even in high school, when he's in secondary school, we are a bit senior now, we can see him. We can see him. In fact, he is the one who used to invite those other teams.
Alikuwa mwerefu, ikifika wakati ya PE, aone kama ako standard 5 na sisi tuko standard 6, tunashirikiana pamoja, tunacheza mchezo pamoja. Hata jina ile tulikuwa tunamuita nyakati hizo tulikuwa tunamuita booster.
Just right opposite Herega Primary School in 1975, Gachagua constructed a volleyball team constituting of area volleyball enthusiasts, with whose pitch still exists in 2025.
Hapo 1975 hii waja mpaka wa leo.
Wewe ulianza kucheza hapa 1970s hapa.
Tuseme mimi nimeanza hapa karibu tuseme 1978. No, lakini kwa sababu Rigathti alikuwa chap ameanza kitabu. Ametoka hapa akaenda shule huko university, akaenda kusomea huko. Wakati anakuja hapa anatuonesha vile tutapiga mpira. Hata hii neti unaona hapa karibu na mimi tumeanza mpira hapa na yeye. Na yeye alikuwa second treasurer kwa hii timu inaitwa Herega Wanderers.
In addition to being the chairman of the Association of Literature Students in the University of Nairobi, Gachagua led the Nyeri District University Students Association DOSA.
And I want to confirm that he was so much involved in issues of students' politics, and he became very famous in taking students to meet the president of that time, the late President Daniel Arap Moi. And therefore, the leadership qualities of Honorable Rigathti Gachagua are dated way back in the university days.
You get to know these people who are interested in student leadership. Those days, you know, these tribal organizations, campus-based tribal organizations were very popular and very common. District-based, tribal-based, and so on and so forth.
After graduating from the University of Nairobi in 1988, he immediately saw the benefits of his ties in politics. Beginning as an administrator in the President's Office, Ministry of Home Affairs, Gachagua became fully integrated into the nation's public service. From 1990 to 1999, Gachagua served in various capacities as a district officer DO.
And the country was building up, but you became one of the DOs. In those days, jobs were available for people with the respectable degree.
Provincial officials were allegedly notorious for their corruption, misuse of power and use of force under President Daniel Arap Moi. But Gachagua served diligently, traversing the counties of Kirinyaga, Laikipia and Kakamega in his duty to serve Kenyans.
And he seemed to have done very well as a DO, but he was identified as one of those special people, special DOs. Or at the time, to be a DO, you had to be a Moi person. I mean, the government jobs required that you be supportive of Moi. There was no other alternative.
Gachagua was modestly known until 2017, when his older brother Nderito Gachagua, who served as Nyeri County's governor, passed on in February 2017. Gachagua served as Nderito Gachagua's personal aide during his time in office. He was so prominent that many people think he made the decisions when Nderito was away. Was he really running the county government of Nyeri in absence of his brother?
I remember very well around when the brother got sick. I think that was between 2015 and 2016, thereabouts. Everybody knew that the county was actually being run by Rigathti Gachagua. And he was actively involved in the affairs of Nyeri County government. And in fact, he almost assumed the role of the governor. The deputy governor, Ambassador Wamadhai, was rarely could you see him, you know, either in public or something, doing politics or even doing other roles or responsibilities of the governor. It's actually Rigathti Gachagua who was running the county on behalf of the brother.
He was not a PA to the governor. What he did was only to give advice to the county secretary, advice to the CECs of the time, to advise to the deputy governor of Governor Rigathti Gachagua, so that the county was able to operate.
2017 mwezi wa pili akakuja tukasaidiana sana shule ya msingi ya Kerigo. Kerigo Primary School is in Karatina Town. Akaja tukashida huko akatusaidia kujenga, akawanunulia tank. Kutoka hapo sasa Rigathi nilikuwa namuona akisaidia sana watu.
When his late brother was unwell, Governor Rigathti Gachagua, that's the time many of us got to know Gachagua. Working closely with the brother was unwell. Some people say he was actually managing the county. I think that's when he came face to face with the politics of Nyeri and I think got interested in politics.
While Uhuru Kenyatta was Minister for Local Government, Rigathi served as his personal assistant from 2001 to 2006. His ambitions to become Mathira legislator in 2017 entangled him with active Kenyan politics. Mathira constituency politics have for so long been fascinating.
Our politics has always been boiling. And actually the nature, the person you see in Rigathi Gachagua and in most of those other politicians from Mathira defines Mathira constituency.
Nyeri County politics are said to be determined by this constituency, perhaps because the area holds a number of prominent individuals from both previous and current regime. Some of the notable figures from the area include Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, Chief of the Defense Forces Charles Kahariri, Kenya's third Police Commissioner Ben Gachagua, former Commissioner of Police Duncan Wachira, and many others.
So there's plenty of people that work in high offices, number one. Number two, we have activity, economic activities that happen throughout. And that, of course, will definitely make the people, economically empowered.
Gachagua became an icon in Mathira politics. His decision to vie for a parliamentary seat came as a shock to many.
So we had, as candidates, as the people of Nyeri, we had settled on Kahiga as our chairperson for Nyeri. Well, let me tell you, when Rigathi Gachagua came to the mix, everything changed. Things changed. I can remember we couldn't even have we all went to the Nyeri National Polytechnic to conduct the sort of an election, an election to pick the officials of the party. It couldn't happen. We had formed the Nyeri County Aspirants Forum, to which I was the secretary. Wambogo Gonjiri was our organizing secretary. Then we had Wambogo Nyamo, who was running for Senate, as our chair. So he came and divided that group into two. So picked one team, which was agreeable to him. And of course, for us, whom he thought were opponents, were left out. And, now from there, of course, things started changing.
It changed the political terrain in 2017 following his ability to convince constituents and his generosity. Many say his pocket was deep indeed.
A person spending, an individual spending almost $1 billion, 200, 300, 500 million to win a parliamentary seat. What are you talking about?
Is it for development or handouts?
For handouts. For handouts.
During his tenure as the MP, it was perhaps the then President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Premier Raila Odinga's handshake moment in 2018 that determined Gachagua's future political brow.
He started a program of ensuring that all the primary schools in this ward are repaired. In fact, he worked on the floors of those classes. He did all the floors again. He even put tiles on them, such that even today, all the classrooms in Logoro Ward, in all the 11 primary schools, are having tiles.
Akiwa MP wetu hapa Mathira is a down-to-earth man. Rigathi Gachagua ni yule mtu tu tulikuwa tunaenda mahali, tunaenda kufungua barabara, anaingia kwa nyumba, ungefikiria na Rigathi Gachagua hakuwa anabagua, na Rigathi Gachagua habagui. Kila mtu anamheshimu na hakuna mahali Rigathi Gachagua angeweza kuingia, na wakaaji wa Mathira will bear me witness. Wakati Rigathi Gachagua alikuwa mbunge wetu, alikuwa anatusaidia all the 6 wards za Mathira.
I have done almost all the projects that stalled during the former Member of Parliament tenure. So many roads in this constituency were left undone. And through the help of our President William Ruto, we have been able to unlock those roads, including the road that passes through the gate of the former Deputy President. That road has been done after the President William Ruto has been elected.
The people of Ruguru are very unhappy with our Member of Parliament, who opposed His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. I remember this is the person who told us that we give Eric Wamobi a chance, and then he was let down by the same person.
This is a journey Gachagua must have planned. I don't think he planned the journey to end in Madeira.
To the general public, the people seeing this, they seem to have washed their hands away from Uhuru. Okay? Because of that. And then you add in the issue of now the Raila coming in, and Uhuru had a very good argument why he was doing that. Kept on saying that he wants peace. Because without Raila there's no peace. And he had proven himself. He's a man who has unusual ability to create ungovernability.
Gachagua joined forces with a number of MPs from the Mount Kenya region to form a political revolution against Kenyatta and sided with the then Deputy President William Ruto. It was during this time when, together with those legislators, the group was accused of, among other things, corruption, abuse of office and failure to promote the agenda of government of the day, to an extent of a section of them being eliminated from parliamentary committees. In 2020, detectives from the Serious Crimes Investigations Unit at the DCI headquarters froze bank accounts belonging to Gachagua as they sought to know the source of some 12.5 billion shillings that passed through his accounts.
Once and for all tufunge hiyo chapter.
Politics under Rigathi Gachagua is notably aggressive and occasionally unpredictable.
Na Ruto nekeana.
He's a very aggressive person. These are the sort of people who bang the table when there's a heated I share in that a bit. I know how it is.
He's rumored to even slap people. Okay? It's a rumor that he has slapped some politicians. And in his attempt to make himself the leader, and you are not understanding why he should be the leader.
His legislative career was marked by his advocacy of causes that were largely focused on the concerns of his Kikuyu tribe.
Member for Madeira.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It was in 2019, during his legislative duties, when Gachagua supported a bill to modify the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015. In his bill, Gachagua maintained that Chinese companies that could obtain loans at interest rates less than a sixth of those of Kenyan companies will drive Kenyan companies out of the market and prevent them from competing fairly.
So he came up with a bill to punish a whole sector for his personal differences. Like you go to some sector where you have an interest, business-wise, and you think that the sector is frustrating you, then you want to cripple the whole sector by sponsoring frivolous amendments.
The Finance and National Planning Committee of the National Assembly would ultimately reject the bill, stating that there was insufficient local ability to supply products and services.
So those amendments, when we looked at them keenly as National Assembly, they were not for public good, but were for individual gain. So that's how we turned it down.
I present to you
He received the Kenya Kwanza Political Coalition's nomination on May 15, 2022.
Running mate candidate.
As William Ruto's running mate for the presidency under the United Democratic Alliance.
My brother and friend, Rigathti Gachagua.
Other candidates for the same post included National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, Tharaka Nithi Senator Kithure Kindiki, Kandara MP Alice Muthoni Wahome, and Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru. But just how was he appointed to surpass the rest of experienced leaders?
I think from what you entrust him with that, he had seen something in him. There was some value. Maybe some leadership qualities.
Gachagua's ability to negotiate his way to the top, considering other names that were fronted and were known nationally, was quite something.
As you are aware,
Ruto explained he had chosen Gachagua because he was one of those leaders who were passionate about ordinary people.
we started that journey together. He understands people issues. He is passionate about ordinary people.
Decided to nominate him to be his running mate because he found a man who was true to the cause, who was true to Kenya as a country.
According to Kenya Kwanza MPs who participated in the nomination process, there were two factions. MPs representing larger Mount Kenya region who were in support of Kithure Kindiki, and second faction hailing from Western, Rift Valley and other regions who were in support of Gachagua.
Wakazungumza pale kwa ofisini yangu Karen pale nikiwa naibu wa rais. Karibu mpaka saa 10 toka asubuhi. Mwisho wakaniambia tumeshindwa. So tufanye namna gani? Nikamwambia hapana, hamwezi kushindwa. Wakaniambia kwa sababu tumeshindwa tunaweza kupiga kura. Nikamwambia pigeni kura.
Not that we failed to agree. The people that handed, and this is very important for the country to know. We had two camps. We had a camp of leaders who are not from Mount Kenya. And we had another camp of leaders who are from Mount Kenya. The leaders from Mount Kenya went to take a vote. And they voted for Abraham Kithure Kindiki as their preferred candidate for a running mate.
It was only Mount Kenya MPs who casted the vote to determine their favorite candidate for deputy president, when Kithure Kindiki, in Didmas Barasa's words, whitewashed Gachagua in the vote.
Rigathti Gachagua may have gotten around 6 votes, not very many. I think in a media reporting, if they could have reported to say Kithure Kindiki whitewashed Rigathti Gachagua.
And that was not the case initially. If you look at the first day, Gachagua came dressed in a suit together with his wife, ready to be announced the DP, only to change. And the story changed that there should be election. Myself, I didn't know that we are going to do election of who will be the deputy president as Mlima people. But on my way, that's the time that Jaguar kid called me and told me, where are you? We are voting. Who is to come to become the deputy president? Finally, we did. I can tell you for free that Gachagua also got more votes than everyone else.
Kawambia, ili tusionekane kwa watu wa mlima, pengine nimechukua vijana, wacha nichukue huyu mzee karibu wa rika yangu, pengine mzee kidogo kuniliko, shingo upande. Wakaniambia wewe ndio kuamua. Sawa, mimi nikaamua, tukaenda pamoja na ndugu yangu Rigathti.
He went against all the votes that Kindiki had, all right? Why? Because he could understand, if I go with Kindiki, I won't make it. That is outright. The president, that is William Ruto, knew if he was to run with Kindiki as his running mate, he wouldn't have gotten it. So he needed a machine. He needed, a machine to campaign with. And also, he is well endowed when it comes to resources.
Si Uhuru naenda nyumbani ashika mzee yake mkono.
Gachagua will then traverse the mountain region, fly across country to woo Kenyans through a bottom-up agenda.
Na saa hii mlima imeongea, imeamua.
3 months before the general election.
Dawa ya hii mzee ni mtoto ya Mau Mau, Rigathti Gachagua.
They were seen to be as if they are tied together. Something went wrong.
Wewe tafadhali kiongozi wetu William Ruto na kuomba, my friend.
And is gifted.
Mambo ya hii mzee akitendawili, tafadhali kaa kando.
When it comes to oration, he's a man with a tongue. He knows how to speak.
Kijana anaitwa Kemani Ichong'wa, mtoto ya Mau Mau.
So when you combine the aggressiveness, the determination of Gachagua with his power of the tongue, the ability to speak, then you have a politician who is almost lethal.
Kapeleka mama mwenzako mpaka East African Court of Justice. Wewe unasema unasimamia akina mama. Ni uongo, si uongo?
Of course, you see, in terms of voter mobilization, he's very good.
Serikali ya William Ruto.
In terms of messaging, he's very good.
Nusu yake 25 billion ni hawa akina mama wa kawaida.
Those were his strengths that made us overlook the weaknesses.
He's fierce, very fierce. He's actually totally ruthless, and he's shrewd.
The self-proclaimed truthful man, with his aggressiveness, campaigned for Kenya Kwanza agenda, bringing bottom-up closer to Kenyans.
Kama hapa Kiambu, pesa inatakikana mingi hapa kwa sababu almost everybody here in this county ni mtu ya biashara.
Wangapi wanasema kitendawili aende nyumbani?
Whenever he was handed the mic, he was a darling to many.
Kura ni yake na kia Simba. Naruto nekiana cha
who wanted to comprehend the meaning of change, the change they all wanted, perhaps after 10-year regime of Uhuru Kenyatta, who had joined hands with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
You know, every politics has its own style. The politics of this country is regional. Show me one politician who is suspended in the air there and calling the shots from the air. Show me one.
Following his persecution from Uhuru's government, Gachagua attacked his administration for allegedly using chiefs to rally behind Azimio la Umoja One Kenya chief Raila Odinga in the August 2022 polls.
Wewe Karaja Kibicho, ulikuja hapa Rift Valley ukakutana na machief kuwaambia ya kwamba utawapatia pesa wafuruge uchaguzi. Umepanga jama ya kuandika makaratasi ya kulete hofu katika bonde la Ufa.
Ruto William Samoei.
After the elections, the second-in-command's differences with former President Uhuru Kenyatta was so evident in his inauguration speech.
The oath in terms of wording is exactly the same.
His gloves were off.
Poor people will never again be evicted in brutal evictions by state agencies.
One of the first things that became very clear when he was sworn in as deputy president
Let us give our new president a chance.
Was that he lacked sense of proportion.
Where businessmen are not harassed by KRA.
He wanted almost immediately people in the mountain to recognize him as the leader. So saying something that should be near him. Mudegi. Wait a minute, what talking? What are you doing? That ambition was there from the beginning, and he went about it wrong, in the wrong way.
Evictions by state agencies.
To eradicate injustice and provide comfortable environment for business.
Freedom is here. Let every Kenyan...
Rigathti's goal since taking office has been to establish his dominance in the Mount Kenya region. The most recent voter registration shows that the region has more than 4.4 million votes. 8 counties, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Kiambu, Nyandarua and Nyeri saw 78% of the vote go to Ruto. With the addition of Laikipia and Nakuru counties in the Rift Valley, the total number of voters exceeds 5.8 million. The 8-county region accounted for over 1/3 of the 7.12 million votes that William Ruto got nationwide. During his time in office, Gachagua spearheaded the fight against substance abuse in Mount Kenya region to strengthen his hold on the area.
This law, therefore, complements the efforts of national government agencies like NACADA, our security agencies, in adding consumption of illicit brews.
It was his shares narrative that perhaps irritated a section of President William Ruto's inner circle to an extent of initiating impeachment process set to oust him from office.
The fact that he actually assisted the president to be president. The correct version is that it is the president who assisted him to be the deputy, because the president had about 6 choices. And I want to assure you that any of them would have delivered him, because the Mount Kenya vote was directly to him then.
In his quest to rid Mount Kenya of cartels that he claims target important regional products like milk, tea and coffee, Rigathi was seen as a tribal who only pushed agendas related to his own people.
He shouldn't have exported a lot of what we do in Madeira to the national stage. I think that is where things went wrong.
Ile watu walishindwa na kazi, those guys who are incompetent, wale ambao ni tribalists, wale wanaendeshwa na ukabila, hawana nafasi katika taifa letu la Kenya.
Rigathi Gachagua is not a tribal man. If he was tribal, he would have come out and supported the other people who were there for presidential candidates. He supported His Excellency William Ruto, who is not a Kikuyu.
I want to admit I have a weakness of loving my people from the Mount Kenya region. That weakness I have. Please forgive me. If you have a problem that I love my people, please forgive me. There's nothing I can do. If there is any punishment that can be meted out for somebody loving his people, I am ready for that punishment.
After the 2022 general election, Rigathi promoted the idea that government functions similarly to a stockholder's firm, with seats being distributed to areas according to their shares. Their contribution to the Kenya Kwanza administration.
So unajua mimi ndio mtu ya share pale kwa serikali ya William Ruto. Sasa serikali akigawa, mimi naingia na calculator. Naweka hapo. Na tunakubaliana, namwambia mkubwa, sasa wale walipanda wavune kwanza.
Vizuri ako na naibu wake ambaye anaongea kabla hajafikiri, anafikiria baada ya kuongea.
What you see is who he is. Never one day imagine that there's this Gachagua on TV and there's another Gachagua back in Madeira, or maybe even in his office. I've never worked in his office, so I don't know.
Lakini wale wafanyikazi wa kumsaidia rais atatafuta wale ambaye wanakubali na kuamini the bottom up economic transformation agenda, kwa sababu ndio wanaelewa agenda yake.
Naibu wa rais anaongea kama mwenda wazimu. Ati sisi tuko na shares. Shares tutaangalia wewe. Kama wewe ukikuwa na sisi ukipiga nini, wewe utakuwa kando kwanza.
Wewe mzee ya maandamano, piga kelele kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni. Na ujue hata ukipiga kelele mambo ya handshake hakuna. Na hata ukijaribu kuletewa mlango ya nyuma kwa rais, mimi niko pale kwa hiyo compound nazunguka hapo. Hakuna.
The self-proclaimed son of Mau Mau was accused of sabotaging government efforts in passing the controversial finance bill of 2024, which Ruto withdrew following pressure from youth protests.
But you cannot gag us from giving an opinion of what we think is your performance. We have a right, as leaders, as a country, as a people, equally to call you out.
Most of his ideas were too commercial. He will come up with an idea because he wants he's anticipating some financial gains.
Because there are some things you don't say or you don't do. and you get the right moment for it. Yeah, there are some things he has said which raise questions rather than encourage support for him.
The President of the Republic of Kenya today has admitted that it has come to his attention that the people of Kenya did not want anything to do with the Finance Bill 2024. The President has now agreed that we need to listen to the people.
When Ruto began discussing the possibility of forming a government of national unity with opposition leader Raila Odinga and began giving Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi more executive responsibilities at the expense of his DP, Gachagua's downfall ostensibly became indisputable.
So my brother President Ruto,
If
in our zeal to work, I have wronged you. Please find it in your heart to forgive me.
If you go into government, you must understand what collective responsibility is. And if you're not ready to subscribe to collective responsibility, the honorable thing is to resign. But you cannot have your cake and eat it.
I have no intention whatsoever to resign from this job. I'll fight to the end.
However, his capacity to bargain his way to the top evaporated barely 2 years after he gained power, leaving Gachagua at odds with the president and in a position where some lawmakers were calling for his dismissal.
Mulimuona Rigathti ameenda kuongea barabara siku moja.
The 57 kilometers that are going from our road, we are going to complete all of it.
Sitima siku moja.
Tumekubaliana na governor, hiyo tutafanya. Governor atoe pesa kiasi fulani, LEREC through national government through LEREC itoe kiasi fulani, tuunganishie nyinyi stima, hiyo tutafanya.
Program ya UHC one day.
The universal health coverage. In this regard, we have allocated 141.2 billion Kenya shillings to the Ministry of Health, with at least 18.4 billion shillings going into the universal health coverage.
For 2 years, he never stepped in any station kusema program ya wacha hata station, hata in public kuongea mambo ya serikali.
Mambo ya bolea, mambo ya barabara, mambo ya maji. Hiyo ndio mazungumzo rais wetu na mimi na hii team kina Musalia tuko naye.
In addition to 6 other offenses, he was charged with corruption, money laundering, gross misconduct, insubordination and harassing public officials.
The impeachment its validity is questionable, the way it was done. After all, we have the message or the utterances of one of the people who supposedly was ordered in Oboshela. Yeah? She said, you told us to do this, we did it.
Was there any breach of the constitutionally provided provisions on impeachment? Was there any breach?
I'm laying on the table of the House the following documents.
The motion mover, MP Mwengi Mutuse, stated that 291 out of 349 MPs had signed for a document calling for Gachagua's ouster when it was introduced in Parliament in October 2024.
Is to identify.
But still, right before Mwengi Mutuse initiated the motion to impeach Gachagua, President William Ruto's allies had fronted about 4 MPs to facilitate the move, but held it under the bars to avoid any inconveniences.
You know, we never relied on one person to move the impeachment motion because of we wanted to avoid the situations where many times you have the mover of the motion, and then when time comes for tabling, for moving the motion, the person is not there, and the motion is lost. We had about 3 people who were ready, including myself, Mwengi Mutuse, including Silvana Sosoro, including Peter Kaluma. So we had a number of us, just in the event that one is compromised, we will pick on the next person.
Despite his impeachment plans at the August House, the then second-in-command stood still and was unshaken by the wave to oust him. Hours before his parliament hearing, Gachagua vowed to fight his impeachment battle until the end, brushing off any possibility of resignation.
Anybody sending feelers to me to resign is a joker. And I found a few people using my friends to come and sweet talk to me. Please, my friends, I don't want to become enemies with you.
Some individuals or institutions are against him could have earned him a bit of, sympathy.
Let me look after my children. You can do whatever you want with the country, but allow me to live.
Despite never having declared his intention to run for president following his impeachment, Gachagua's enormous influence as the nation's second-in-command had placed him in a strong position to succeed President William Ruto.
I have more peace of mind than those in government. I have more peace. Si mimi nimekuja hapa nimekubalika. That is the joy of a leader. Sasa wewe ukiwa kwa kiti, ukitumana condolences watu wanasema isisomwe. Sasa uko kwa kiti ndio, lakini raia wanakataa.
He will have some influence. There's no doubt about that. And yes, the desire he had when he was deputy president might be realized by being impeached.
We have not consulted on whether he will be running or not. But if he runs, either as president or a running mate to somebody, then you can expect that ticket to give William Ruto the nightmare of his life.
Tutamuanika vizuri.
Gachagua of today and Gachagua of a year ago are two different people.
Munadanganywa barabara itajengwa na ni uongo tu.
Gachagua now is a king.
So tunataka kuambia wewe Mr. Yesa, weka rate ya 2 hours. 2 hours 5,000. Udanganye watu for 2 hours.
Unless the politics of this country change drastically between now and 2027.
Rais ulipigana na mimi Rigathti Gachagua, mimi ni mwanaume.
I see no other person who will influence the election more than Gachagua.
Wachana na Martha Koome ni mwanamke. Mbona unapigana na wanawake?
Actually, Gachagua has replaced Raila Odinga.
Tunataka bunge ipitishe pesa ya kutosha.
As the one man around whom the elections will be rotating.
2025-2026.
I appreciate that you have made the economy and you are stuck. But that does not allow you to demean that office.
Under my watch, Kenyans will regard each other as...
Long before he declared he was going to run in 2013, 2017, 2020.
Sikiza, Faro Safi.
Everybody was waiting to hear what will Raila say. Is he running?
Faro Safi, Wakenya nasema Raila Odinga tosha mara ya tatu.
And if he's not running, who will he support? That man today is Rigathti Gachagua.
Abel is a cousin to a very senior government official.
So because he is a victim, then sympathy goes. Just in the same way that in 2013 people voted for the Ruto because they were seen to be the victims.
I can say the only factor in winning the elections, if he will not be running. If he's going to run or support somebody, be maybe a running mate, then William Ruto would better start packing. By 2026, he should have packed his bags, waiting for the day to go home.
The person who will call shots in Mount Kenya region is not Rigathti Gachagua, it is His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. And the best thing that Gachagua can do right now is actually to rally behind Uhuru Kenyatta.
Even while he battles in court to defend his name and use his downfall as a political masterstroke against his opponents, His removal has solidified his position as the kingpin of Mount Kenya region.
Ground watu wamekasirika kwa hizi taxes ambazo zimewekwa. Hizi bills zinaletwa kwa bunge ambazo zinaongeza ushumi. Hizo zote raia wamekasirika na hiyo. Sasa naye Rigathi kufukuzwa pale, tunaona kama yeye mwenyewe ndiye alikuwa anaendesha serikali vizuri, tusifinywe. Kwa hivyo sasa watu wote wamemfuata na wamechukua kama kiongozi wao.
Wakati ameimpeachiwa hivi, tuseme hata hapa watu walikuwa wamefanya kama watu wamekufiwa na nini, na mtu walikuwa wamependa, kwa sababu walikuwa wamependa sana, kwa sababu ya kile walikuwa wamefanya.
There are two factors or three factors that are coming into play. One is the Rigathi factor, the other one is Uhuru factor, and of course the Raila factor. Those are coming to play. So there's no way you can talk about 2027 without factoring in Rigathi's input, because it's very huge. Without a doubt, 80% of Mount Kenya region is behind him.
Today, the opposition is led by His Excellency Rigathti Gachagua. When he makes a statement, the government will react towards that statement for a week or two.
We are uniting and we are liberating the country.
As he collaborates with like-minded leaders to reveal a new political course this month, Gachagua has called his 2022 support for President Ruto a strategic blunder and pledged not to make the same mistake twice. Even though he was impeached, Gachagua has not exhausted all legal channels as allowed by the Constitution, providing a platform to vie for any political seat in future.
But when a member of Mount Kenya is touched, the first sellouts are the people from Mount Kenya. Because sometimes there's a lot of transaction that happens. But I want to tell the people that even those who have betrayed Gachagua, who sold him out, just like in the Bible, Judas, who sold out Jesus, could not stand the guilt. He hanged himself. I'm not saying they are going to hang themselves, but it's more likely.
Those three who voted us for that office, who are they? They are those people from Mount Kenya. How can you help your people to go home?
Na watu ya kule wasilete mdomo hapa. Ati mdomo inatoka huko mlima, ati inakuja hapa Bungoma, ati mambo ya shuka ama Kakamega, hapana.
Hao wabunge wote mnaona wakiongea, yeye ndiye anawaandikia what to say. When that mheshimiwa ya Western anasema ati Mount Kenya itakuwa isolated, that is not the MP speaking. That is William Ruto.
But there are many doubts about his ability to rally support from regions other than his personal backyard in Mount Kenya.
If I were Ruto, I will not take this thing lightly. Gachagua has the capacity. And if Gachagua realizes that it will be difficult to beat Ruto, there's only one thing he will do. He will run. I'm telling you this thing today. Tell it to Kenyans, go and air it. If Gachagua realizes there's nobody to beat Ruto, and Ruto is likely to win, he will run. You know what running means? He will be number one because of the Mount Kenya votes. Nobody can beat them. Nobody can beat those votes. So he will be number one, but there will be a runoff.
He is using his political ammunitions very early.
He's doing very well, actually, in terms of gaining acceptance in the mountain. But there are also those instances when his utterances make people wonder, wait a minute, is that the right man?
Politics is like a war. You require a strategy to win.
His Excellency Rigathti Gachagua is not releasing his weapons very early. He is actually doing them with a lesson. I remember one of the issues that he discussed the other day is about free fertilizer that was given to this country.
And he's got a very strong team of people who would follow him to wherever.
Or the competitor for William Samoei Ruto's re-election in 2027 is not going to be Rigathi Gachagua. It's not going to be Kalonzo Musyoka. It's going to be his better plan. Bottom-up economic transformation.
The game will begin with runoff.
He will be competing against his own track record.
It's not always true that those who get number one win in the runoff. You know that. That's where the challenge is. So That's the only thing Gachagua will do. In order for Gachagua to ensure Ruto doesn't win, if he really wants Ruto to lose, he will run. He will be number 1. And in that configuration, Ruto should be pushed number 3. I'm telling you, a distinct possibility, a really clear possibility, especially if someone like Raila were to run.
Political activity in the Mount Kenya region has been quite intense in the recent past. Gachagua battling his distractors, who says he's not the best candidate to take over the region's leadership in the vacuum left by former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. What now remains is just a matter of time before 2027 elections. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.